The nonstop development environment for Eclipse includes a graphical user interface for debugging nonstop applications. In this video, I will demonstrate some of the most commonly used debugging features of NSDEE. To access the debug interface, open the debug perspective in NSDEE. Like other perspectives, the menu bar at the top provides access to debug features and other features common to all perspectives. Below the menu bar is the toolbar, which contains buttons providing quick access to some of the more commonly used features for the debug perspective. If you hover over each button, you will see a hint identifying the feature it activates. To debug a program built in NSDEE, you should create a debug launch configuration. To create a debug configuration, look for the bug-shaped icon in the toolbar. Click the triangle next to it and select Debug Configurations. There are four types of nonstop debug configurations. Nonstop application is used when you want to launch an application. The attach type is used when you want to attach the debugger to a process that's already running. The snapshot type is used when debugging a snapshot or save a bend file, and the TSMP server type is used to debug a TSMP server class application. For this demo, I will launch a simple nonstop application. Click the New button to create a new configuration of the selected type. The configuration is given a default name and system type to start out. I'll change this to something less generic. The configuration has a number of tabs that you can use to fill in optional settings for the launch. For this demo, I will only fill in the required fields on the Main tab. The online help includes detailed instructions for the settings on each of the configuration dialog tabs. On the Main tab, set the system type for the application you want to debug. This one will be launched on Guardian, which is already set as the default. Fill in the NSDEE project name, or use the Browse button to find and select it. Leave the project blank if you're debugging an application for which you do not have a corresponding NSDEE project. Next, select the nonstop system and username you want to use to launch the application. If you haven't configured the connection yet, click the Edit button. Use this dialog to add the hostname and username. Select the connection protocol. I'll use the SSH protocol. You can connect now or wait until the config launches. I'll connect now. Click OK to return to the config dialog. The connection selection has been filled in. Next, I'll fill in the location of the application on the remote nonstop system. In this case, I'm selecting a destination where I want the locally built application to be copied. But I could also enter the location of an existing application. Finally, I'll fill in the local path of the application built in NSDEE. Once again, I'll use the Browse button. Now that I've filled in the required fields, I can launch this debug configuration. The values that I've entered will be saved, so I can reuse this configuration the next time I need to debug the same application. When the program finishes launching in the debugger, the debug perspective views are updated. The debug view shows the current execution stack, and the source view displays the source for the top frame in the stack. The variables view shows the local variables and parameters for the selected frame. The outline view shows the program structure of the selected source file. And the console view will show the program output and can be used to enter program input. Breakpoints can be set in the source view by double-clicking in the left-hand column. Double-click again to remove the breakpoint. Breakpoints can also be set by selecting a function in the outline view and using toggle breakpoint in the context menu. To resume program execution, click the Resume button in the toolbar. There are also toolbar buttons for stepping over statements, stepping into calls, and step return to finish executing the current function and return to the caller. These same buttons are used for instruction stepping when you activate instruction stepping mode, which opens the disassembly view. Select the Variables view to view and modify program variables. Note that the Variables view highlights values of variables that have changed each time the program suspends execution. To change a variable value, select it and type the new value. The Variables view only shows local variables and parameters. Global variables can be viewed selectively using the Expressions view. The Expressions view is empty initially. You must add entries for any variable that you want to see displayed. You can add global variables, local variables, expressions, and even wildcard expressions that match one or more local variables. Expression values are evaluated for the selected stack frame. The expression's entries that are local variables in the current frame will become invalid when I select a different frame. The local variables are now shown with invalid values. There are many other views that are useful while debugging. Some are included in the debug perspective by default. Others have to be opened manually. The File Opens view lists files currently opened by the program. The Segments view shows allocated segments. The Registers view displays register values. The Memory view can be used to display and modify memory. The Nonstop Signals view is used to display and modify the program's signal handlers. The online help for this view can be accessed with the F1 key when the view is selected. This concludes the introduction to debugging with NSDE. Be sure to look for other videos in this series.